What if I told you Cristiano Ronaldo's entire career could have looked completely different, and that one bold claim just shook the football world to its core? Because right now, fans everywhere are asking the same shocking question. How close was Ronaldo to a completely different destiny, and what does it reveal about every footballer's rise to the top? Today we're breaking down the story that challenges everything you think you know about talent, opportunity, and fighting football. We'll explain everything in this video, step by step. Don't skip it. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because the football world has just been shaken by a statement so bold, so outrageous, and so unbelievably dramatic that it could only involve one man, Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes, you heard it right. The claim flying around the football universe today is that Cristiano Ronaldo would be at Barnsley if he came in today, and trust me, this one has set off fireworks across every corner of the beautiful game. Now picture this: the five-time Ballon d'Or winner, the global icon, the man who has lifted leagues and crushed records in Spain, England, Italy and beyond, suddenly being told he'd be lining up at Oakwell in the Championship. Oh, football never sleeps and the drama never stops. This fiery statement didn't just land, it exploded. It's got fans arguing, pundits scrambling, and social media spinning like a Ronaldo knuckleball. And it tells you one thing loud and clear: the debate about raw talent, hard work, privilege, pressure and football's ruthless pathways has never been hotter. Because behind the punchline is a storm of deeper questions. Was Ronaldo's rise all about natural ability? Was it the grit, the countless hours on the training ground? Was it destiny? Whisper it. Could he really have ended up somewhere completely different had the football gods rolled the dice another way? But make no mistake, we're talking about a player who defied every odd in his path. A kid from Madeira who once trained under streetlights. A teenager who cried during drills because he wanted to be better. A machine who transformed into one of the greatest athletes the sport has ever witnessed. A man whose goals aren't just numbers, they're chapters of football history. So when someone comes out and says he'd be at Barnsley if things were different, oh, you'd better believe the football universe is going to explode with opinions, the passion, the backlash, the absolute entertainment. And viewers, stay with me, because we're diving deeper into the heart of this story, the motivation behind the claim, the reactions pouring in from every corner of the globe, and what it really means for Ronaldo's legacy, for player development, and for the unpredictable rollercoaster chaos that makes football the greatest sport in the world. The bold claim about Cristiano Ronaldo potentially ending up at Barnsley sends a jolt through the football world, igniting an immediate wave of disbelief, laughter, outrage and curiosity all at once, because it's the kind of statement no one expects to hear about one of the most decorated players in the history of the sport. The idea alone feels like a plot twist ripped straight out of a football parody, yet it's being discussed with the seriousness and intensity of a World Cup final, and that is exactly why it has grabbed global attention so quickly. Fans everywhere are stopping mid-scroll, commentators are raising their eyebrows, and social media has exploded into a frenzy as everyone tries to process how a sentence linking Cristiano Ronaldo and Barnsley even exists in the same universe. It's a claim that challenges everything people think they know about football's hierarchy, player development, and the impossible standards that surround modern legend. To imagine Ronaldo not at Real Madrid, not at Manchester United, not at Juventus, not dominate Europe's biggest stages, but instead at Oakwell battling through a cold Tuesday night in the Championship, immediately injects a shock factor that pulls everyone into the conversation, whether they're like Ronaldo or not, because it forces a look at the delicate, unpredictable nature of football careers. What makes this statement even more dramatic is the contrast between Ronaldo's iconic journey and the hypothetical scenario of being thrown into the spotlight. This is a player who climbed from the streets of Madeira to become a generational symbol of excellence, a workhorse forged by determination, discipline and relentless ambition. His rise is one of the most celebrated stories in global football, and when someone suggests that alternate circumstances could have placed him somewhere drastically different, it strikes at the heart of the football narrative that fans have built around him for decades. It challenges the belief that greatness is guaranteed, that top talents inevitably rise, and that legends are destined to reach the top no matter what. Suddenly, the world is debating whether Ronaldo's success was purely talent or a combination of timing, opportunity, development pathway and the right environment, because even the smallest shift in his journey might have completely changed the course of football history. This bold claim also taps into a deeper cultural phenomenon. People love discussing what-if scenarios, especially involving megastars. What if Ronaldo hadn't been discovered early? What if he'd ended up in a smaller academy? What if the right coach never crossed his path? Every fan becomes a storyteller, a theorist, a judge in the court of hypothetical football history. And that's why this story breaks through the noise. It's dramatic, it's humorous, it's controversial, and it hits directly at the myth-making machine that surrounds football icons. The suggestion that one of the greatest players of all time could have been playing for Barnsley doesn't just shock, it energises the entire football community, giving people something fresh, unexpected, and wildly entertaining to debate across their group chat's timeline. Football podcasts turning a single sentence into a global talking point that refuses to quiet down the statement sparks a massive debate about talent, hard work, and football's unpredictable pathway. Because the moment someone suggests that a player as monumental as Cristiano Ronaldo could have ended up somewhere completely different, the football community is forced to confront the uncomfortable truth that success in this sport is never as straightforward as it seems. People love to believe that talent alone is enough, that a prodigy will shine no matter where they come from, but this claim pushes fans to re-examine their belief from every angle. It opens the door to discussions about how many unseen factors shape a footballer's destiny: the club they join at the right time, the coach who believes in them, the environment that nurtures their potential, and the opportunities that appear or never appear along the way. Suddenly, everyone is debating whether Ronaldo's rise was inevitable or whether even he could have been derailed by one wrong turn or missed opportunity or one lack of exposure during his formative years. This debate spreads quickly because it resonates with stories fans already know. There are countless tales of players who had incredible potential but faded away due to unstable environments, poor mentorship, injuries, or simply being in the wrong league at the wrong moment. Conversely, there are players who weren't considered future legends but flourished because they landed in the right system under the right coach at exactly the right time. When people apply this perspective to Ronaldo, who is widely praised for his unshakable work ethic, discipline, and determination, it creates a clash of ideas between destiny and circumstance. On one side are those who argue that Ronaldo's mentality alone would have launched him to the top, regardless of where he started, insisting that his hunger for greatness is so intense that nothing could have stopped him. On the other side are those who believe that even the greatest players need the right platform, the right spotlight, and the right developmental structure to evolve into global icons. The conversation becomes even more intense because it touches on deeper emotional truths about football's cruelty and unpredictability. Fans are reminded that for every Ronaldo, Messi or Mbappe, there are thousands of players who could have been stars but never received the opportunities necessary to reach the highest level. It raises questions about equity in football, about scouting systems, about how clubs invest in youth, and about whether the sport does enough to recognise and develop raw talent. People begin comparing Ronaldo's story to countless almost stories reflecting on the razor-thin line between becoming a superstar and becoming forgotten. This is why the debate refuses to die down. It's not just about Ronaldo, it's about every dreamer who's ever touched a football and hoped the world would notice them. And because Ronaldo is such a polarising figure, admired by millions, criticised by others, but respected universally as a phenomenon, the discussion becomes emotionally charged on all sides. Fans defend him passionately, critics seize the moment to question narratives, and neutral observers enjoy the intellectual spark of imagining how differently things might have unfolded. The combination of star power, controversy, nostalgia, and philosophical questions about fate and merit turns this single statement into a storm of opinions that keeps expanding, evolving, and pulling more people into the conversation with every passage. Ronaldo's journey from Madeira to global superstardom highlights his unmatched dedication and resilience, because every part of his rise is built on a foundation of relentless effort, unbreakable discipline, and a hunger to escape limitations of his upbringing. Growing up on the small island of Madeira, far from European football's major power centres, meant that he didn't have the luxury of being surrounded by elite facilities or constant exposure to scouts. He had to fight for every scrap of recognition, battling through challenges that many young players never encounter. Those who know his early story remember descriptions of him training alone, practicing his technique for hours, sprinting uphill with weights, and pushing his body to levels that peers considered extreme. From the very beginning, he showed a mindset wired for greatness, mentality that refused to accept the circumstances he was born into. That resilience became the engine that powered him forward, driving him to stand out even when the odds were stacked against him. When he left Madeira for Lisbon as a young teenager, the obstacles didn't disappear, they multiplied. He struggled with homesickness, loneliness, and an entirely new environment that demanded immediate adaptation. Many young talents crumble under that kind of pressure, but Ronaldo treated it like fuel, turning every setback into motivation. Coaches and teammates recall him crying during drills, not because he was weak, but because he wanted perfection so badly that anything less frustrated him. Competitiveness wasn't learned, it was instinctive, and that fight helped him rise rapidly through the ranks. Even at Sporting, where dozens of young prospects fought for attention, Ronaldo separated himself through his obsession with improvement. He stayed after training, practiced new skills, repeated drills until his legs burned, and constantly pushed himself beyond the expectations of those around him. That same dedication carried him into the spotlight when Manchester United first noticed him. His performance in a friendly wasn't just a good display, it was a statement of intent, a showcase of the technical skill, fearlessness and athletic dynamism that he had built through years of punishing self-improvement. Once he reached the Premier League, a league known for its physicality and ferocious pace, he didn't shy away from the challenge. Instead, he reinvented himself. He transformed his physique, sculpting his body into one of the most powerful and efficient athletic machines football has ever seen. He added strength, stamina, explosiveness, and a level of professionalism that set new standards for the sport. Every summer he returned even better, proving that his career wasn't shaped by luck or coincidence, but by an unwavering commitment to becoming the best version of himself. As he moved through Manchester United, Real Madrid, Juventus and beyond, that resilience continued to guide him. He broke records not because they were within reach, but because he stretched himself to reach them. He trained when others rested, studied when others relaxed, and believed in himself when others doubted him. His achievements, 5 Ballon d'Ors, multiple Champions League titles, hundreds of goals are the visible results of a mindset built on sacrifice and grit. And beneath all the accolades, his story remains a tribute to the power of refusing to settle, of refusing to be average, and refusing to let circumstance dictate destiny. Fans and pundits exploded with reactions, fueling drama and entertainment across the sport, because whenever Cristiano Ronaldo's name enters a controversial or unexpected discussion, the football world reacts with the intensity of a stadium roaring in the final minutes of a cup final. The moment this statement linking Ronaldo to a completely different career path surfaced, social media platforms lit up like a scoreboard after a last-minute winner. Thousands of fans rushed to give their opinions, some defending him with fiery passion, others laughing at the absurdity, and many diving into long debates about whether such a scenario could ever have been possible. Football conversations thrive on shock value, on big statements, on bold claims, and this one delivered exactly that. It became the spark that ignited an entire ecosystem of reactions, from serious analysis to memes, from heated arguments to playful banter, feeding the endless cycle of football storytelling that fans cannot resist. Pundits, analysts and former players also jumped into the fray, offering their own interpretations and dissecting the deeper meaning behind the comments. Some insisted that Ronaldo's mentality made him destined for greatness regardless of where he started, while others emphasised how unpredictable football development truly is. Their discussions added layers to the narrative, transforming what could have been a throwaway comment into a talking point that dominated entire segments of football shows, radio programmes and online debates. When experts bring their perspectives to the table, the conversation becomes richer, sparking even more reaction from fans who agree, disagree, or reinterpret the issue through their own football philosophies. The back and forth between audiences and pundits creates an ongoing loop of engagement, keeping the story alive long after it first emerges. At the same time, the entertainment value skyrockets because fans begin to imagine alternative football timelines. They picture Ronaldo in lower league stadiums, imagine championship defenders trying to mark him, visualise him scoring world-class goals in unexpected places, and laugh at the sheer contrast between one of the world's most glamorous footballers and such a dramatically different setting. These visualizations turn into viral content, humorous posts and creative edits that spread rapidly through football communities. The fans' ability to turn any major football topic into a blend of analysis and comedy is part of what makes the sport so culturally powerful, and in this case the contrast is so extreme that the entertainment factor becomes irresistible. What amplifies the drama even further is the emotional investment people have in Ronaldo's legacy. Supporters feel the need to defend his greatness, critics seize the chance to question long-held narratives, and neutral fans simply enjoy the spectacle of a debate that touches on football history, player development and personal bias all at once. Every new comment adds oxygen to the fire. Every argument keeps the momentum going, and every viewpoint reinforces how deeply football discussions can grip the global audience. It becomes more than just a statement, it becomes a cultural moment, a shared reaction across continents, languages and fan bases, reminding everyone of how electrifying football discourse can be when a superstar's name is involved. The story raises deeper questions about destiny, development and how football careers are shaped, because when someone suggests that even a player as iconic as Cristiano Ronaldo might have ended up somewhere completely unexpected, it forces the entire world to confront how fragile and unpredictable the journey of a footballer truly is. Fans love to believe that legends are born destined for greatness, as if their achievements were written in the stars long before they ever touched a ball. But comments like this remind everyone that the path to the top is not a straight line, it's a maze filled with luck, timing opportunity, mentorship, environment, and countless tiny decisions that can alter a career forever. Ronaldo's name being dropped into this kind of hypothetical scenario brings these questions into sharp focus, pushing people to reflect on how many careers might have been transformed or lost because of moments that seemed insignificant at the time. Forces the football community to think about how development systems operate, how scouting networks function, and how many players slip through the cracks each year simply because the right eyes never discovered them. If a player of Ronaldo's raw talent required the perfect blend of discipline, opportunity, and support to rise to the top, then what does that mean for the thousands of young players chasing the same dream around the world? The story becomes a mirror reflecting the harsh reality that talent alone is never enough. A young player might have unbelievable skill, but without the right environment, proper guidance, and a club that believes in them, their journey can veer completely off course. This is why discussions around Ronaldo's hypothetical alternate path captivate fans. They open a door into the hidden world of football development that most people rarely think about. At the same time, the idea challenges assumptions about destiny in sport. People often speak about Ronaldo as if his rise was unstoppable, as if he was guaranteed to become one of the greatest players in history no matter the circumstances. But the moment someone imagines him in a completely different setting, people begin to question how much of his greatness came from innate ability and how much came from the breaks he received along the way. This doesn't diminish his achievements. In fact, it enhances them. It highlights how he made the most of every opportunity that came his way, how he responded to challenges, and how he transformed every struggle into fuel. It also emphasizes the delicate nature of sporting success, reminding fans that even the smallest divergence in a player's career path could rewrite football history. This is why debates like this resonate so strongly. They go beyond Ronaldo, beyond Barnsley, and beyond the headline itself. They speak to the essence of what football represents: dreams, uncertainty, passion, and the endless fascination with what might have been. Discussions about destiny make people rethink their understanding of greatness, while discussions about development make them appreciate the complexity of a footballer's rise. Together, they create a narrative that is both philosophical and emotional, drawing people in with curiosity and keeping them engaged with the realization that behind every superstar there is a story that could have unfolded in countless different ways. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe.